some old paint. So let's have a look. It's either good enough to use or it needs to be thrown out. And we'll find out. Doesn't look too bad. Looks like paint, smells like paint. I ain't gonna taste it, but I reckon it tastes like paint. That'll do. This is the bottom side. This is the top side. So I'll paint the top side first. I stuffed up, I thought I was going to cut this bit off. Anyway. Maybe I'll make this the top. Just means I've got that notch in the end. That's the trouble with using second-hand timber. That'll do until it dries. So I think I'll use old decking boards for the spaces. Put two in like that, and there's about there's a bit decent gap. It's about 10mm gap because of the decking board's about 22mm. That's about 20. And then you've got to go over the heads of these screws. But I think it'll be alright, because if I put the big cleat, as I call it, on there, and clamp it between here, through the cleat, through this, into the back bit of wood, I think it'll be as strong as hell. So I think that's what I'll do, unless I change my mind. I'm going to make this one the cleat, and I'm going to cut the other one off a bit shorter to use it as one of the cross pieces, so I'll avoid that mistake with that damaged end that I didn't deal with particularly well. Cut this off first to square it up. Flip him over. Oops, bumped the camera. 2275. 2275. Right there. I don't have to mark it with a set square for this saw, because it's set for a square anyway, but I do. Makes me feel good. Wheel him down a bit, like right there. Double check and a bit further, right there. Got to be 2010, but I'm going to cut it a bit longer because I'm going to square up the other end. So I'll cut 10mm off the other end, make this 2020. It means this bit here, can you see that? This bit here will be either close to the front fascia side or close to the shed. But that's alright, I don't think that matters. 2020, about there. A bit bowed this bit, oh well. It gets stuck sometimes. Make sure that's in nice and square. Two 2010. I'm not sure if I'll leave these white, but I've got white paint left over from something else, so that I'll use it up to seal it all up. It's a Solar Guard type paint, so should be pretty good. I'll think about if I'm going to put another colour over the top, like a grey or something, I don't know, or green. remember I used to help my dad paint, and there'd be little cracks in the wood, and he'd say, "Ah, no, just fill it up with paint." So that's what I do. Like this here. Just work it in. Dab, dab, dab. This video is partly to show you that I'm still doing something, and partly for those people who just want some boring content to watch, some old idiot cutting and painting some timber. Some people might like that. The other reason I'm using this paint is because part of this whole thing at the moment is to use up stuff from around the joint that's sort of built up over a few years of doing bits and pieces for other people and myself. Sort of accumulated a lot of stuff that some people would call it rubbish, and it probably is, fair enough. But if it's able to be used on a job or a project that I've actually got in mind, then to me it's not rubbish, it's good stuff. Some people keep stuff even if they don't have a use for it. They just think, oh, that might be handy. That's alright too if you've got the space. You're a bit careful what you keep, and keep every friggin' thing. But you know, each to their own. Can you guys see up here? I don't know. I'll move it anyway. Because I could paint the colour on once I've got it in there, because the colour is really just to make it look different. This paint is really to seal it and hopefully make it last a bit longer. I don't have to worry about replacing rotten woodwork in 5 years or something. Hopefully I'll be around in 5 years to worry about stuff like that. I better be around in 5 years. This project's probably going to take me at least that long. Not the roof, the whole lot, the whole and associated work, like fixing up the sheds and stuff like that. Just depends what else happens in my life, you know, like everyone. Other commitments, bills to pay, worse luck. A few other little projects I want to do around the joint. So, unfortunately, I can't spend all my spare time, or all my time I should say. I can't spend all my time on this project, which would be good. Also like to do a bit of bike riding. I enjoy it, and it keeps me fit, more or less unfit you might say. But I also enjoy it, so that's good. It's Friday today, and on Wednesday after work I rode, I think it was about 25 k's. It's not a great distance, but not bad for after work. It's all relative, isn't it? You know, 25k on a bike to some people is unthinkable. I remember a few years back, most Sundays I'd ride with some mates, and we'd do about 80k. We'd drive somewhere, ride for about 40k, have breakfast and a coffee, talk a bit of shit, and then ride back 40k. It was a good day, but you know, people's lives change and that sort of stuff, so we haven't done that for quite a while. And that group that I was in probably won't ever ride again as a group, due to just stuff that happens. But anyway, I'll get some of the team back together one day. Yeah, is this dry enough to touch? Yeah, probably is. Might put another, maybe not, I don't know. I might be going out for tea, so I don't want to get too much paint on me. But anyway, all I can do is try it, do it without making too much mess. That'll do. Notice these freshly cut end grains really soak up the paint. You all probably knew that anyway. I think a lot of people watching these videos, not that I get many people watching it, but I think they're already, you lot are already fairly handy sort of people, judging by the comments you make, so probably no great surprise. And I'll tell you, the end grain soaks up the paint. Dab it all in there, fill up that minky bit. I'm going to cut this end off anyway, aren't I? So I don't know why I bothered painting that, but anyway. I'm going to cut this bit off and use it for the cross piece. Have faith, it will all work out. After I've made a few mistakes and adjusted plans and things, it will all work out. Looking forward to dinner anyway, or tea. I haven't eaten much all day. I'm trying to lose some weight. Become a bit of a fat bastard. But, so I want to just be a bastard. I'm not particularly tall. I'm about 5'6" or something. So I'm not short, but I'm not tall either. Might be a bit short on that. I can't remember. And last time I weighed myself, I was 92 kilos, which for me is up there a bit. The heaviest I've ever been is 99, probably I'll say 23 years ago. I don't know. Is it wobble on that? It is too. Yeah, I remember I got to 99 and I thought, oh shit, if I do something, if I don't do something, I'm going to end up 100. And I don't know, even though it's only 1 kilo, 100 sounds much more than 99. So I just started eating a bit less, eating a bit better food, a bit less crap, and a bit more exercise. Things like that. Take the stairs instead of the lift. Nothing rocket science. You know, I think everyone knows how to lose weight, unless you've got some health problem and you're having trouble exercising. That'd be hard. But yeah, by and large, most people know how to lose weight. A bit more exercise, and a bit less food. Maybe a bit better food, depending on what you eat. If you eat a lot of crap, then dim sims and potato cakes, all the good stuff, you know, can't have that. And some of you will be shocked, but I also cut back a bit on drinking beer. That is sort of bordering on ridiculous, but you know, you make some sacrifices sometimes, don't you? Speaking of beer, it's beer is very expensive now. I can't remember when it happened. Got a feeling it was a long time ago, a couple of prime ministers ago, but someone passed this tax law. I think it's every 6 months, the amount of tax on alcohol goes up. Yeah, so the tax on alcohol has been going up every, I think, 6 months for the last, I reckon it could even be 15 years, but at least, I reckon at least 10 years. And it's reached the point now where it's really, you got to wonder whether you buy it. It's become, for me anyway, it's a bit more of a special occasion drink rather than sort of a standard thing that you just sort of buy. I wonder what's done to beer sales. I should do some research on that, see if beer sales has gone down. I suppose their argument is it makes the population healthier, which might be true, but it depends what they substitute for beer. Maybe they drink more Coke, and that might be worse than beer, who knows. Well, I think that's it. I'm going to pack up and keep an eye on the rain. I don't think it's going to rain. And when this dries out tomorrow, I'll paint the other sides, cut the cleats. Cleats? What do I call them? Cleats. Yeah, I'll cut the spaces for here, and I'll see if I've got bolts to go right through. Otherwise I'll have to order some or go into town and buy some. Hole still there. Not much more to say. Keep on digging.